Hello, dear friends. We are now working in extreme conditions, so if somehow this streaming is interrupted, you need to be prepared for this. But nevertheless, no matter how difficult it is, we are still on the air and conduct this broadcast for you. And let's talk today about such a topic that interests a lot of people already. This is the human psyche and autumn exacerbation of mental disorders. I have been studied such a topic as a state of human psyche and human psyche in general for more than 25 years. And of course, I had a very expanded experience in observing such people with the mental disorders, with the problems with the psyche. Of course, I had a lot of experience and working in our center, Personality Development Center, we have managed to help many people. Many people came to me even in very severe degree of mental disorders. Even they took the medications, psychotropic medications, but now they have managed to restore their psyche and they are very healthy people even now, despite of the very hard situation in Ukraine. So today I want to give you explanations why such processes occur in the human psyche and how you can prevent this and restore your psyche, correct such a mental state. And in the end of our broadcast, I will give you my recommendations that are based on my experience, my practice, and the knowledge that I have learned and discovered during my practice and work with people. And if my advice and recommendations will help you, I will be delighted. So, friends, let's talk about what the psyche is. Every human being consists of three parts: body, mind, and spirit. Spirit we can call also the soul, the energy. But the soul and the spirit have a little different states. We will talk about this later. And there are three types of death. The death of body, but in this process, mind and the soul of the person continue to live. They stay alive. Just this person, his mind and the soul continue to live in another state of life, in the subtle state of life and subtle space, subtle dimension of life. The second type of the death is the death of the mind. And exactly this state is the mental disorder, mental damage. It has several stages, several states, the stages of the destruction of the psyche. The mind of the human being is connected to the higher mind, higher intelligence, and maybe you heard about this. And for the normal process of human mind and for the person to be sane, to be normally alive and proceed in this life, to be active in all life processes, he needs to be connected to this source, to the higher mind. Of course, his mind perceives and processes the waves, the vibrations of the human mind. And in his life, in his development, every human being should develop and develop his ability to receive and process the higher level of vibrations. But now many people experience this mental disorder because they cannot tune their brain to the higher vibrations. But the vibrations from the cosmos that come to our planet intensifies and much more intensified. So this system that there is on our planet, program system, to which the brain of the person, of unconscious person, is connected to this system. And this system involves into the processes of the destroying of humans' mind. So this planet has the energy field, and every moment, every second, it radiates the waves that are consist of energy and information. This is like cosmic planetary computer. This computer is like a device that every second emits, radiates the wave, and the brain of each person receives these waves, cosmic vibrations, interacts with the environment, with the life around him. So these waves activate the mental processes, the thinking of a person. And during his life processes, the brain of such a person activates develop new programs, develop himself. And this is precisely the process of evolution of humanity. But what is happening now? Now, the mind of each person who lives in low vibrations of astral space, and astral space is also here where you live, near the surface of the planet and higher till the level of clouds approximately. So when you live here, you radiate your vibrations, your own energy waves. They fly higher because they are lighter than dense matter, and they are accumulated under the surface of the planet. And having accumulated, they create this density, energy density of low vibrations. And people live in this and also feel the effects of this low vibrational energy. This energy is destructive. And you are the children of God. You heard about this. It means that you have the gift of God to be creators. It means that you create your reality with your mind, with your thoughts, and with your feelings, because you have the nature of the creator. You have the part of the creator, your soul and his energy. That's why you create your reality as the creator does. But you create with your thoughts and emotions. So each of your thoughts and emotions has its own vibrational state. Also, it carries the information and energy, both energy and information. So if you feel constructive, wonderful, positive, and beautiful thoughts and emotions, they will enter into the resonance with this such space, such energy and cosmic vibrations. You will attract them to your life and they will create for you wonderful events and constructive, beautiful events in your life. So when a person develops himself and controls his thoughts and emotions, he studies how to be a moral, decent person and develop himself. So he radiates high vibrations. His soul possesses these high vibrations. The mind, the psyche of such person will not be damaged because it's impossible, because his brain, his mind is always filled with the high vibrations, cosmic vibrations of higher mind, of God. And person receives these high vibrations and develop himself and raise in his growth. But now, what is happening now? People are usually, most of all, they live on the low vibrations. Low vibrational waves and energy is the states of fear, aggression, and deception. A person goes to work and he sees and faces the deception and aggression and illusion. When you go to the work, you see the same fears and aggression. When you watch TV or internet, you see the same lie, aggression, deception, and fears. So now everything that is happening around you, these are the processes of fears and destructions. And this is the effect of the astral space, this astral system. Of course, weak person and unconscious person cannot resist these processes, and he lives in these distractions, in these fears and deception and aggression. Most of people of the planet live in such a processes, and especially if they have the same destructions in their families. And the waves, the energy of fear affects the soul of a person. And at some stage, the soul of a person cannot resist this destruction, this fear, aggression. And the mind of such person also is damaged by these processes and it destroys itself. And there is a creative spirit that fills with the energy and develops your brain. It stops working such destructive person. This creative spirits includes 7 additional spirits. It, the spirits of advice, knowledge, understanding, of worship and intuition, and the seventh, the intuition and the seventh spirit, also the spirit of wisdom and advice and bravery. All these spirits maintains your sane and normal state of your mind and consciousness. But if a person lives only in illusion, in fears and aggressions, and especially if he takes drugs or drink alcohol, he infects his body and brain with severe intoxication, poisons and toxins. And of course, mind is damaged because it connects to your brain, physical brain. So the brain processes and lives only on the low vibrations. And especially if you add the toxins and poisons with the drugs, alcohol, or cigarettes, it leads person to this death of the mind, damage and then death that we call mental disorders. Of course, the soul cannot develop in such a person, and it leaves the body of such a person. A person dies, but the mind and the soul of such person does not understand what is happening to him, and the soul of such person delves into the very destructive space, subtle space, but he delves in the same vibrations, the same states in which he lived during this life, and we call this purgatory or hellish state. And there is a third state, the third type of the death of the soul. When the soul of the person dies, such person cannot continue the life when he dies here in the physical body, physical life. His soul is dispersed in the cosmos, and from the particles of the soul is the next life form will be created. But the personality of such person, his soul, will never exist anymore and anywhere. And now the Matrix, this destructive program system on our planet, tries to steal the souls of such people. how when a person lives in low vibrations during his life, then when he dies, his soul is captured by this low vibrational system, by the matrix. When a person lives and radiates low vibrations, he lives only in fears and destructions and aggression, pride, arrogance, greed, deception, trickiness. All these low vibrational uh, waves. This is the astral waves, astral vibrations. It means that person interacts with the astral, and that's why there is such a term that person can be connected to the matrix, to the astral. It means that their mind is connected to the astral, low astral space. And in this heavy astral, destructive entities live. They are astral, destructive, low vibrational entity, and they cause in a person's mind destructive feelings, madness, aggression, fears, and such people don't understand what happens to them. Why they cannot understand? Because their mind are dead. They don't work in them. The brain does not work in such person. Their mind. So the consciousness of such people live in this heavy astral, in this low vibrational space. His mind, his brain, his consciousness in the astral. That's why the astral possesses his mind and suppresses his mind. It means that the willpower of a person is completely compressed, and such a person becomes insane, and people call such people mad people, and they close them in the asylums and in psychiatric clinics, and he just is waiting for his death. And this is really horror and a catastrophe on our planet. And when I have started to explore this topic, to study this knowledge, I saw one state, one type of condition of people's mind, but now it it has become worse, much more worse, and I see that no one tries to help and fix such a condition on our planet. And I realize that the mass damages, destructions are coming to our life, and it will come true very, very soon. Because all these destructive people, aggressive people, mad people, they also create the reality around us in our world. And but they emit and radiate only destructive states, low vibrations, aggressive, scary, terrible, destructive waves. All these radiations, all these vibrations are accumulated on our planet, and it also causes the intensified activity of the core of the planet, and in turn it causes the earthquakes and floods and other disasters on our planet. So only constructive people, developing people, and spiritually, especially spiritual developing people, they are not involved in these processes. They live constructive lives and try to fix this in every possible way. And they try to save this planet and help to such people who live in complete illusion. And when their minds are dead, they cannot realize their destructions and their madness. And when the brain, the mind, not brain, but the mind of a person is dead, the inner state of such a person is changed very, very intensive. And if you will meet such person uh, over time, After some time, you will see that has changed so much that you cannot recognize this person. It means that the person really stopped to be the same person, the same personality, because his mind is completely possessed by these destructive astral entities. And of course, I have noticed that the exacerbations of such processes take place in spring, in autumn, usually. And such people have distorted perception of this world, of this life and other people, because their minds cannot perceive correctly all these life processes. They experience everything only through aggression, through the state of destructions, resentments, other destructions. So thus they destroy themselves and destroy other people who surround them. So now we see that there are so many people who are insane, who are very aggressive, who hate everyone. They can kill, they can fight, they can hit someone. And of course, uh, our world cannot live in such condition. And such situation even becomes worse with every year, and worse and worse. And especially after the uh, COVID, coronavirus, the situation on the planet and condition of people mm, have have changed to the worse. People were accustomed to live in the fears, in the panic and anxiety, but it's not normal. Uh, of course, it will bring you to the destruction, to the death even faster. Even if you got sick or your closed one, uh, on the contrary, you need to calm down such a person and just to give the advice that start to lead a healthy lifestyle, start to lead with the positive emotions, watch some wonderful films, for example, uh, Beautiful Green or PK or The Conversation with God. Uh, just meditate this nature around you and enjoy this life. But people don't do this. They, on the contrary, try to give a person even more and install in people more fears, more anxiety, to be afraid of this virus of death. And this process we can call madness, because these governors, government of all countries, they are mad if they are afraid of such disease, such processes, viruses, and they try to threaten other people. It's not normal. That processes that we see is just the processes of self-destruction. The world destroys itself. I see that and I understand that, of course, now you will think who is to blame for this, who is responsible for that. But I can tell you, friends, that every person is responsible for these processes. Every person who cannot take responsibility for his life, for his thoughts and emotions. Such people are really involved in these destructions of our planet because they radiate the vibration, they create the states of madness on the planet. Why? Because they have a lot of fears and just the animal instincts and desire to have the satisfaction, and that's all. Of course, all these states create the destructions for them, and then to the whole planet. And if 20, 30 years ago we had a process that when a person is not succeed, is not very responsible or rational, we usually the society help such a person, try to do everything to help him. But now, if a person suffers, the society tries to even intensify such a processes and to intensify the to intensify these processes of destruction of this person that leads the person to the death. And of course, because mad people cannot realize their madness. No insane person cannot understand, realize that he is mad. So each unconscious person, destructive person, is responsible for all these destructions on the planet. And all these processes, conditions that we see, these are the mass degradation on the planet. And all these destructions will lead the planet to the very intensive disasters. And only those people who will develop spiritual will survive these hardships and disasters. And even if the body of a person will be killed, the main thing is to save your mind and soul, because the mind and soul will continue their life. So people who now are rethinking their life, they will be value this life, and only they can help this planet and survive these sufferings and hardships. And such people will be very strong, they will be conscious, and such people understand that we have no time to wait, that we need urgently save our minds and our souls and to help the whole planet, the humanity. So this time for our planet has come. So you can believe or not believe in this, but I know that my learners are definitely convinced in this, and they know that it is true. And of course, such people who live in this madness, and they will stay in this, and they, with their opinion, they will argue now. And I know that they have no uh, proper explanations and excuses for themselves. That's why they try through their argues and discussions and blamings, resentments, try to keep this state because they have no other processes. The astral destructive entities are completely possess the minds of such people. These entities have only the astral state of life, but they cannot generate the energy because they have no the divine gift of God that you have to create the energy, create your reality. That's why they need your energy that you generate. It means that you feed them and they eat your energy, suck your energy, and live only due to your energy. So they try to be connected to minds of the people and suck their energy. That's why they try, such astral entity try to provoke you to low vibrations, to feel and experience and radiate aggressiveness and fears and other destructive feelings uh, to receive your energy. But people, they think that it is their thoughts, their emotions. They don't understand that their minds are possessed by such astral entities. And I can tell you that when people come to me for studying, I see that if a person have such a mental disorder but first stages, and nevertheless he has such some high vibrations, it means that he still has the connection with the high vibrations of divine space. It means that he still has the opportunity to interact with the highest space, highest mind. Of course, I take such people to courses, to my student, and give very strict instructions, advice, and tasks to lead a healthy lifestyle, to work on themselves, to train the sane, healthy thinking, to work in the practices, in meditations, sacred mechanisms, and it allows to the mind of such person be restored. And we restore such loner. Of course, it takes some time, several months or half a year, but the people become sane and healthy. And we have a lot of such loners, and I can tell that such loners are very devoted, faithful to this knowledge, to God. They value this life. They are very appreciate this knowledge and this life because they have managed to return their life, their stability, psycho-emotional balance, their goals and dreams and the future. And they enjoy this life, rejoice, and of course we also are very pleased and delighted when we have such results. But sometimes there are cases when I see that I can help and restore the psyche of such person, but at some period relatives of such learner started to affect him, tell him that he uh, got into the sect, and thus they activate the doubts in the mind of such person, in his ill mind. Of course, when a person starts doubting and not always follow my recommendations and stop to practice, of course, he returned to his mad state and leave this path. But that's why sometimes such learner cannot be saved. And I can tell you that each of you want to meet truth, find the truth and meet the truthful person, truthful teacher, to find the teacher whom you can trust and believe and trust his life to the hands of such teacher. Of course, all people want to meet such a teacher whom you can trust, who will not betray you, who will not use you. I know that all people on the planet lack such processes because those beings, fallen beings who serve to the evil, rules this world, rules our planet. Yes, friends, and the time that we are now experiencing was predicted even 100 years ago by Nikolai Roerich. The time of fallen beings when the Antichrist will come to our planet and start all this destruction that we have now. But this time will pass, and the higher mind, the higher beings, will have the results of my learners. They will adorn this life, and they will be protected from all this horror that now awaits of the whole planet. They will create the spiritual societies, and the prophecies were made 100 years ago, and not one time. So, friends, I know all these horrors and hardships, and I can tell you that it's very hard time I see this and also experiencing it. And I know that it's very hard to interact with the mentally unhealthy people and mentally unbalanced people. These communications, relationships are always unstable because a mentally unhealthy person is unstable. Anything can be expected from such people. He is capable of anything at any moment. Anything can be expected from such people because they are no longer quite them, the people. The essences have taken possession of them, who have some benefit from these people in the form of energy. So I give the floor to our voice to Sergei Arkadьевич. Good evening,
Добрый вечер.
friends. And the first question from John
Первый
Martin from
вопрос,
Estonia.
Джон Мартин, Эстония. Как
How to
помогать
help people
людям
in
в
mentally
критически
destructive situations?
эмоциональных
How to
ситуациях?
calm them
Как их
down? What
успокоить?
do we have to
Что
do?
нужно делать?
It's an excellent question. You need to try to settle down and extinguish the conflict. Just calm them down. Say them and tell them that everything will pass away and we will resolve the situation. We will find the way out. Everything will be fine. And now let's watch some positive movie. No, I don't want, she will tell you, or he will tell you. So just ask them, what do you want to do now? I will accomplish uh, all your desires. I will. Do you want we go for a walk or to some a beautiful cafe? I will taste you with very delicious desserts. Or do you want we just will sit together in silence? Or do you want I will hug you and kiss you and tell you how I love you, how I appreciate our relationships, how I value you, and everything will be wonderful in our life. And then you just sit in meditation from the first level course and work with this person within that meditation that has the powerful energy that creates light and feel the soul and mind of such person. In this way, you should help such people. If, on the contrary, you do something to intensify this conflict, try to argue or convince your opinion, it will this conflict will get worse. Even if you know that they don't understand this situation correctly and they are convinced in their opinion, do everything to keep the calmness, because the astral entity in this person wants his aggressive state and want to provoke you to your aggression. That's why that it tries to affect you even through this person. So don't allow this entity to succeed in this, to provoke you to some destructive emotions. You should just realize that it's not the person says this, because the person is God, and human being cannot tell such destructive things. It's just the astral entity acts through this person to provoke you. So you should just realize what is happening, and this awareness will give you the opportunity to keep your calmness, your peace, and emotional balance. And you will see that even this person will feel better and will calm down. But also, John Martin, everything is depends on the psycho-emotional state of this person. If the mind of such person is dead, then nothing should, nothing cannot be done. So these destructive beings can destroy the mind of such people completely. And such a state disconnects the person from the higher mind, and such a person is automatically connects to the astral, and the person starts to think with their thoughts of aggressive, illusory, and aggression, destruction. The person starts living in the horrible and scary and aggressive states. Such person likes to speak about the horrors and destructions, about fears. He watches such movies, such TV programs. It means that he helps himself to destroy his mind and his soul. And this pressure, destruction in the soul, in the mind of such person is accumulated. And then when it reaches a very high level, this pressure disconnects the connection between the left and right hemisphere of the brain of this person, and it is actually causes the mental disorders. The right hemisphere is responsible for the spiritual development, and the left hemisphere is responsible for the physical being, physical reality, and material reality. So they should be united and work together. But if the connection interrupts, then the person really became insane. And when you listen to such person, you see that he is really has no normal and correct perception. It means that he has illusory perception and understanding of this life, and it is really distorted and illusory perception and worldview, because this astral entity affects and creates such a worldview, such a thinking in a person. That's why of course, we need to help such people and fill them
Следующий
with the
вопрос
high,
Манзура
pure
спрашивает.
energy.
Наталья Владимировна,
The next
маленькие
question:
детки тоже иногда спят
when a
с
little
собой
children
разговаривают.
speak
Это
to
они сами с вами
themselves,
разговаривают или с
so
кем?
they speak to someone or just to themselves? They speak to also to another beings. We call them intermediate beings. They are etheric beings, and they were close to the material space, and they are involved in development of humanity. Such children clearly remember their past incarnations, and they recollect such situations or some people, and they just perform the situations like playing in this situation, perform this life, speaking with these beings, spiritual beings. Or sometimes a child who is spiritualized, has a very high spiritual level, he can communicate with the higher mind, with the supreme intelligent. He can speak with the voice of God that is in him, in each person. But if you see that a child just likes destructive, aggressive videos, video games, or cartoons, they like to fight, to kill in this video or in the games, it means that the aggressive astral entities possess his mind. And also, you should realize that if in the family of such children there are mm, very aggressive and mentally destructive, mentally unstable, of course, he affects with her vibration to the mind of your child, and his brain, his mind also is destroyed by these destructive vibrations of his mother or father. Of course, if a parents allowed to watch destructive videos, immoral videos, to watch their children such movies, of course, they contribute, such parents contribute in the destruction and of the mind and soul of such children. And of course, such children don't have the voice of God, the supreme mind in them. And the Rincha book writes a lot about this supreme being's voice of God. It is called Thought Adjuster.
Светлана из
Next
Литвы
questions.
спрашивает, кто управляет
Svetlana
астральными
from Litva
сущностями,
asks,
которые вредят
who
человеческому разуму? Кто их
governs
начальник?
these fallen beings who harms the human's brain? Who is their governor, their chief? Their chief is the former planetary prince who has created the matrix. His name is Caligaste. He has created the matrix and Caligastian age, epoch of the earth. Kali Yuga. Yuga is the age. So he was the creator of the matrix since he lived in the astral itself. He was never visible on the material level. He always lived in the astral. So after the Lucifer rebellion, when the human, all people of the planet became uncontrolled, Caligasta with his assistant have created the matrix. This is program system. They installed the programs into this system on the astral level because they were very highly developed beings. They have connected all peoples to this system, and since all the supreme beings became fallen, they were disconnected from the higher mind, creative spirit, from the cosmos because they betrayed God. They became fallen and they started to serve to the evil, to the dark forces. That's why they needed the low vibrational energy of evil because they lived only due to the energy of evil. So they created this system that sucks the energy of people, feeds the energy of people, low vibrational energy. And the matrix entities, it is the entities that provoke people to radiate the low vibrational waves, the destructive vibrations, and through the channels, the matrix and all these fallen beings received the energy of people. But now these fallen beings were distracted from this planet when the Jesus Christ came to our planet. He defeated them and extracted them, but they left their descendants, and their descendants now they are the worldly government of this planet. You heard about them, but you don't know them, but they really are the servant of this system, the Matrix. But they could not harm you if you would be spiritually developed people, if you would not feed the matrix. In the cosmos, there is no such program as the matrix because it can exist only on such fallen planets like our planet. So these descendants of these fallen beings are connected to the matrix and they live in the state of evil. They feed on the energy of evil. For them, the evil and destructions is the most wonderful energy. They cannot live without these low vibrations, the vibrations of evil. But since in each of human being there is the mechanism to be creators, to generate the energy, these fallen beings need people and their energy, and you are like a batteries, like a generators of energy for them. But again, I will repeat again that they would not harm you, would not use you if you stopped to feed this system to radiate low vibrations. But at present time, it's impossible because at this moment, the minds of most of people are so destroyed that to return them to their normal and adequate life, it's impossible. So destructions will await of this planet, and each person will receive their own results.
Следующий очень хороший
Ina
вопрос.
asks, I work in
Ирина из
medical
спрашивает,
system and I know that
работаю в медицине, знаю, что
medications
препараты
don't
зачастую не
give
дают
the
никаких улучшений. И
good
получается,
results
что мы делаем
and
еще больше вред и работаем на
treatment
сущности.
and
Позволь
healing for
мне, как
people.
Наталья Владимировна, отвечать на этот вопрос.
So what should we do? Uh,
Вы
I can
знаете,
tell that if
мы просто
Natalia
закроем
Rodina
эту
will
передачу.
reply this question,
Вы
our
знаете,
broadcast will
это
not
еще
be
одна грань того сумасшествия, о
allowed
котором
by
говорила
the
Наталья
site
Владимировна.
YouTube. So
Наверное, если бы сейчас великие
this is
врачи
one of
вроде,
the trap
скажем, Авиценна
of
или
the obstacle
Парацельса
this time.
попали в наше
So,
время, они
friends,
бы
we
точно
will
сидели в тюрьме.
we will reply only that question
Поэтому
that we can.
читаю
So
следующий
the
вопрос.
next question from
Лидия из
Lydia.
Калуша.
Now many children
Скажите, сейчас многие
behave
дети в школе ведут
unmorally
себя
and
неадекватно. Как правильно
incorrect,
взаимодействовать
inadequately in
учителю с
schools.
такими детьми?
So, what parents should do with such children? You need to love such children and try to see in them God. And the behavior of a child is the indicator of their relationships in the family. It's a copy of these relationships, the relationship between parents and in the family in general. And since now the most people live in the matrix, of course the children also live in the same way on the same energies. And I see that mentally unstable people, mentally ill people, they want, on the one hand they want these children, but on the other hand they give everything to these people just to avoid to pay them more attention. They give them videos, smartphones and games, and that's all. Of course, the brain and the mind of a child needs the new programs and development. One day, once I had such a situation, such case in my practice, one woman came to me with a child, 3 years old daughter, and she was sitting with the smartphone and watched some movie. And I heard very strange noises. And when I looked at the smartphone and I asked her, "Do you see what they do?" Yes, she told me this immoral video, and I was shocked because she saw that and considered this normal, and she watched this movie and played with it. So of course it's clearly what the results await of such child. Of course, if such a child is accustomed to the easy virtue from the childhood, and when parents do makeup to a small child, of course it leads a child to completely immoral personality and behavior. But here we have not so bad situation, but in Europe it's completely distorted. Education is completely destructive for children. The children in Europe even have the right to claim about their parents to their parents, and they also have the right to a lawsuit to their parents. So, of course, in the future, such children will not have the right moral values. But according to the laws of cosmos, the laws of the Creator, all parents are obliged to educate their children till they're 18 years old. According to the laws of cosmos, the laws of the Creator, and of course, such destruction lead the planet to the very harmful disaster. And of course, we can speak about this a lot, but it's not enough. The parents need to see this, to realize this, and to work on themselves and to live correctly and think and act correctly, to live right. And only then, if you will decide to live right, then no one forbids you this, because your life is only in your hand. Your life is only yours and of the Creator. So don't wait for some help. Don't sit, just act and work on yourself.
Яна из Франции.
Yana from
Могут ли
France asks,
заражать
can the mentally
психические люди нормально
ill people
с теми,
affect
которые
and
находятся в их теле?
infect other
Как
people
помогать
who
таким, чтобы
around
самому не
them?
упасть?
and
что делать
what
тем, кто еще не
people who
учится.
are not your learners can do
Да, друзья
in
мои,
these
конечно, могут.
situations.
Они же излучают низкую
Of
частоту,
course, such people
высокочастотную, конечно.
radiate low vibrations,
Поэтому,
very destructive vibrations. You can
конечно,
watch the
могут. А вы даже
movie,
сами видите, когда
uh,
вы находитесь
very
в
good
поле,
movie about
когда вы
this
живете в доме, в
process
квартире с такими людьми, вы сами тоже становитесь
about
сумасшедшими. Вы
such
даже,
insane
вы
people.
первое время начинаете
The
сами у себя
word
спрашивать,
number
что-то со
6,
мной
very
происходит.
good
То есть вы видите свои
movie.
изменения.
So
И есть
sometimes
время, когда вы
when
еще
you
их
live
видите,
among
замечаете
with
за собой.
such mental
Потом
ill
может прийти
person, you
время,
can
когда уже человек этого не может
also
контролировать,
bear
и
this
уже
and
сам
withstand
это
this, but over
выдумывает.
time you
Он
feel
свое
some
безумное
changes in
состояние
yourself, with
считает
your mind,
нормальным,
with your psyche,
хорошим, здоровым и
because
правильным. А
all the
нормальных,
radiations
здоровых
affect
людей
you.
считает
But
сумасшедшими.
if you see
Вот
the
ведь уже
severe
такой
degree
высокая
of the
точка,
mental
это
disorder when
слишком
they
маловато.
consider
Таким
themselves as
людям уже помочь
sane,
невозможно.
normal people,
Что
and
делать
they
вам, друзья
thinking
мои, tем людям,
as a
которые
normal,
развиваются,
and think that you are
которые
insane,
хотят
is the
жить
very
созидательные жизни, хотят
hard
продолжить эволюцию на этой
stage of the
планете, хотят
disorder,
стать Богом, хотят
and
жить в мирах обителя,
we
хотят
cannot help
высшего.
them in
Что вам
such a
делать
state.
в этом сумасшедшем
But
мире?
all people want to live
Терпеть, друзья
in
мои,
happiness,
терпеть,
in love. So,
излучать
what
любовь
can you do to
тоннами
help them?
каждый день,
Radiate your
каждый
love
вечер, каждое утро
and
излучать
patience
любовь,
and acceptance,
понимать,
your
прощать,
light.
помогать
Help
всем, чем вы
with everything that
можете,
you
не
can.
считаясь помогать. Вот это вы можете.
You
То
can
есть
help
этим вы
to
можете
restore
помочь.
them.
Если вы
But
еще
if you
больше
will
будете их разрушать,
even
этих
destroy
людей,
them
вы
even
сами
better,
будете нести
you also will be
ответственность за это.
responsible
А
for
им
them,
будет
and their
еще хуже. Да,
condition will
нужно
get
принять
worse.
этот мир
Of
сейчас как
course,
данность.
now
Да,
we live
да,
in
нельзя
this
снимать ответственности
madness on
с
the
людей,
planet,
которые
and
стали
of course,
сумасшедшими.
such
Нельзя.
people
Они сами себя
led
довели до
themselves to
такого.
such a
Если
madness.
бы они
Because
были
if all
духовно
people were spiritually
развивающимися,
developed,
с
they
ними
would
бы
not have
такого
such
не
madness
произошло.
and mental
С
disorders,
духовно
because
развивающимися
such
людьми
processes
такого не
don't
происходит. Это
occur with the
невозможно.
spiritually developed
Невозможно.
people.
И
It's
я вам
impossible,
объяснила почему.
because as I
Потому что
just
развивающийся
explained you,
человек,
that with
благодаря
spiritually
знанию всех
developing
вспомогательных
people,
духов разума,
the
мудрых,
creative,
мудрых, когда
higher
вы учитесь у
and
наших
divine spirit
достойных людей.
works.
Вот если внутри у
Seven,
вас есть такое
uh,
состояние, вот
seven
я вам уже даю советы и рекомендации.
additional
Если у
spirit.
вас есть мудрость,
Uh,
значит вы,
and I explained
мудрецы,
you
вы
this
уже не
topic
будете повторять
earlier. So
ошибки, вы
when you
будете
are a
совершать свои
developing person,
ошибки, вы
you
будете
will not
смотреть на
judge
ошибки
other
других
people
людей, благодарить
for
этих
their
людей за
mistakes. You
ошибки,
will
как
thank
учителей,
them
которые
for their
показали вам, как делать
experience,
не надо,
for
и
their
сами
lessons,
будете делать
and you will
правильный
act
выбор, который
right.
будет приводить
You
вас к
will
созидательной жизни.
study on their
Дух,
lessons.
который энергия,
And
контур,
the
который
spirit, this
называется
is the spirit of
поклонение.
wisdom.
Это дух,
The
который
next
дает
divine
возможности вам
spirit is
уважать,
the
любить,
spirit of
почитать и
worship.
служить
When you
высшему
worship
разуму.
and
Вот что
understand
такое
and
поклонение, а не
appreciate
рясу и
the
кресты
help of
целовать
the
друг с
higher
рядом.
mind,
Это не
of this
поклонение. Поклонение,
spiritual
когда вы
and
своей
supreme
всей
forces.
своей
This is
душою
when you show
Боженьке
and
показываете свою
express your
верность и преданность, и каждую
devotion,
ситуацию
your
можете
faith in
пройти
every
и выдержать,
situation.
и каждого даже
And
самого
even when you
падшего человека
understand and
можете
can
понять и
forgive
простить, где вы
every
понимаете
person,
все
even very
происходящее,
fallen.
и что бы
And
вам ни
no
пришлось проживать, вы
matter what
никогда не
happens, you
проклинаете, вы
are never
никогда не
aggressive,
агрессируете,
you
вы никогда
never
не излучаете
radiate
зла.
the
Вот это
aggressiveness
и есть
and judgment
поклонение высшему
or
разуму,
blame or fears.
служение
This is
высшему
your
разуму.
faithfulness
Дух
to the
совета,
Supreme Mind.
когда вы, сталкиваясь с
The
теми или
next
другими
spirit
задачами,
is
вы
the
всегда
spirit
спрашиваете совета. А
of
не я лучше
advice. It
знаю,
means that
у меня
when
канал
you are
открыт, я
ready
лучше
to
знаю,
hear the
канал открыт.
supreme
Только какой?
spiritual advices,
Астральный, наверное.
but when you
Потому что
think that
когда
you are
канал открыт
right,
астральный,
you
вы тоже
always
кого-то
right,
слышите.
and
Но
you
это не
hear
значит,
some
что вы
voice,
слышите
and
Бога,
you don't
голос
want to
Бога.
listen
Вы
to
слышите сущность.
any
Потому
spiritual
что
teachers
голос
and
Бога
tips
может
of
услышать
supreme
такой
beings.
человек,
It means
сильный,
that you
мастер жизни,
just listen to
может
the
услышать
astral
голос Бога.
entity. You are
Человек
connected
вот
to the
такой
astral
вот,
channel,
человек лживый и
and only
левый,
pure
человек нечистый,
person can hear
нечестный,
the voice of
жадный,
God within
завистливый.
himself.
Какого
But if
Бога
a
он может
person
слышать? Вы
is
что?
dirty,
Бог с
is
такими не
aggressive,
разговаривает, с такими сущностью
destructive,
нечисти не
and
разговаривает. А
arrogant,
человек может быть
or
убежден.
very
И вот когда
scary,
человек
he cannot leave the voice of God.
действительно
But if a
развивается
person is
духовно,
really
он будет
spiritual,
слушать
developed,
совета,
he
совета
will
учителя,
listen to the
совета людей,
voice of
которые
God within
правильные дают
himself
ему
and
советы.
advice
Вот
of
он
the
будет
spiritual
учиться, он станет,
teachers,
он выберет
and
себе
he will
учителя.
choose very
Мне многие
carefully
мои зрители
his
говорят:
spiritual teacher,
здравствуйте,
and he
уважаемая
will not
Наталья
act like
Владимировна,
this. Like
Я
some
являюсь
viewers
вашей ученицей, уже
write
давно
me
учусь у
the
вас,
messages
глядя ваши передачи,
that
прямые эфиры. Вот, и
thank you
вот
very
хочу
much,
вам задать
Natalia
такой-то
Vladimirovna.
вопрос
I
или
am your
поделиться там
learners for
своим
many years
мнением.
because I
Какие же вы
have
мои
been watching your
ученики?
broadcast
Мои
for many years.
ученики, чтобы стать
Friends,
таковыми,
you
они
should
проходят со мной
understand that you are
собеседование.
not my
Я
learners
смотрю,
because
насколько
you are my
они
learners
готовы
when
к
you pass
этому
the
или
selection,
не
when I
готовы.
see your
И
readiness,
каждый из
that you
вас,
are ready
зрителей, может
to
стать
this
моим
higher
учеником.
knowledge
Это
and
нужно
mechanisms.
особое
And to become
состояние,
my
особая
learner, you need to
подготовка,
have
особое
and
внутреннее
pass
намерение.
the proper
И это нужно
preparation
полное ваше
and prepare your
доверие. А
condition and
передачи
even your
сейчас
physical
смотрю.
body
Так вы
to this
включите кино,
study.
посмотрите.
But when
Когда
you
вы кино
watch the
посмотрели, вы же
broadcast,
не говорите, что
it's
я
like you watch some
режиссер
movie.
этого
When
кино.
you
Ну, вы
go
же
to
так
the
не
cinema,
говорите. Вот так и
you
сейчас.
are
Вы
not the
просто
learner of the
зрители.
director of
Никакие
this
вы не
film.
мои ученики.
So
Если
this
бы
is
вы
the same
знали, что
process. You're
такое
not my
быть моим
learner
учеником,
when you
если бы
just
вы
watch
знали, что
my
это,
broadcast.
быть
If you
учеником,
could know what
значит быть
is my
мастером жизни.
learner,
Учиться
it's the
стать
master
мастером
of this
жизни.
life.
А
He is
значит,
studying every moment.
дисциплина,
It means that
дисциплина и
discipline is
еще
the
раз
highest
дисциплина.
quality in
Это
him.
исполнительность, это
And
обучение, это
studying is
работа
the
над
work
собой,
on
это
yourself
работа со
and
своей
the work on your
психикой, это
psyche.
здоровый образ
And
жизни,
this is the
это
training of the
милосердие,
highest
добродетель, это
qualities in yourself
излучение
kindness,
любви всему
love,
миру.
and
Вот что
mercy.
значит
It's the
быть моим
radiate love to the
учеником.
whole
Это
world. It's
овладевание
the studying of
величайшими
the highest knowledge,
знаниями,
supreme
которые
divine
еще даже
knowledge
в
that
книгах не
even are
написаны.
not written in the
Вот что
books on
быть
this
моим
planet. This
учеником.
is what it means
Да,
to be
друзья.
my
И сейчас
learner.
в чате
And
с
now
вами могут
our
поделиться
learners
мои
in the
ученики,
chat
и они могут вам
can write
подтвердить эти
you
мои
and
слова, мною
convince,
сказанные. Да,
prove my
это не
words.
просто люди,
So these
это люди
people are really
избранные.
are chosen
Избранные,
ones. The
избравшие
chosen
путь.
one is the person
Избранный–
who has
это
chosen
тот,
the
кто
path of
избрал путь
evolution, of
эволюции.
spiritual development.
Вот как.
The next
Следующий
spirit is
дух
the
дух
spirit
знания.
of
Понятно.
understanding.
Совет хорошо, вы
So,
слушаете мои
advice, of
советы,
course, it's
и я
very good when you
рекомендую,
listen to my
советую,
knowledge, my
помогаю
advices,
вам.
but
Но как без знаний?
if
Что бы
I
я могла бы вам советовать,
did not
если бы
give
я
you
вам
the
не даровала
knowledge,
знания?
you would not have the
Знания, которые
understanding,
все
the
объясняют.
explanations.
Вашу
So,
ситуацию в
only
жизни,
knowledge
ваши
allows you
трудности,
to resolve
проблемы,
your
ваши
life
болезни.
problems
Все
and
происходящее
processes that
объясняют.
are
Знания космоса,
happening on our
устройства
planet.
космоса, других
Also,
миров, других
knowledge
форм
explains
жизни,
you the
устройства
structure of the
физики,
cosmos,
частиц
of
и так
our
далее. Это
life,
все
our
знания.
reality,
И
about the
существует космос,
energies. And this
энергия
energy
знания.
are
Я
transmitted through
получаю
the
эти
energy.
знания
I
и дарую
receive
эти
this
знания
knowledge
вам.
and
Это один
convey it
также
to
из
you.
созидательных,
This is only
вспомогательных духов
this
разума,
is
на
also one
которые
of the
настроены
spirit,
мои ученики.
divine
Их
spirit
разум настроен.
that works in my
Следующий дух–
learner and explains
отваги.
this knowledge to my
Отваги,
learners.
друзья мои.
The next spirit
Поэтому
is the
духовный
spirit of
человек,
knowledge.
имеющий мудрость,
So
поклонение, совет,
also
знание,
the
отвагу–
spirit
это
of
человек,
brevity.
не просто человек,
And such a
это
person
сильный
who possesses
независимый
all
дух.
this spirit, all these
Такой
states,
человек
qualities in
пройдет
him,
все
only
и
he will
будет
be
склонять свои
the
колени и свою
strongest person,
голову только
the
перед
most
высшим
stable,
разумом,
and
перед
he will
Отцом Небесным.
listen to
Только Ему и
only
будет
the
служить,
voice of
только
God.
Его
He
волю и
will
будет
accomplish
исполнять,
only the will of
только к
God.
Нему и будет
And
стремиться.
brevity is the
Отвага–
fearlessness, is
это
the
сила,
strength,
это
and the
воля, это
willpower in a
мощь,
person. And due to
благодаря
these
которой
qualities, the person
человек
will
может пройти все.
survive
И
everything,
ничего такой
endure
человек
everything,
не боится. Он
and
понимает
he will
все.
never be
И
afraid of
следующий
anything.
контур, следующий
And
дух,
the next
следующая
spirit
энергия в
is the
составе
spirit of
созидательного духа. Это как раз
understanding.
и есть это
When you
понимание,
understand everything
видя
correctly,
все вокруг
not distorted as
и
the
себя
mentally
тоже.
ill
Все
people,
понимаешь
but
разумом.
when
Не
very
психически разрушенным сознанием,
with
а
very high
правильным,
awareness. And
осознанным,
such people,
будучи
they make
развитым мудрецом
just
жизни.
less mistakes.
Такие люди
I
мало
cannot tell
совершают
that they
ошибок.
live
Я не
very
хочу
easy
сказать, что
life,
они живут
no,
легкие жизни.
but
Нет.
they live with
Им
awareness,
даруется
and
самое
they
лучшее
are the
наставление.
special people
Это
because
сильные
they are
епископы, это
future
спасители, это
uh,
будущие учителя
spiritual
планеты,
teacher
это
of
особенные люди.
humanity.
И, конечно же, еще один
So
контур,
the
еще
spirit
одно
of
состояние,
intuition is the
которое так
state that
необходимо
also
моим
is
ученикам
required
или же другим
to all
развивающимся
spiritually
людям.
developed
Интуиция,
people.
друзья мои. Это
It gives
состояние,
the
оно
tips,
всегда человеку
information
подсказывает, что он делает
to
правильно, а
people
чего
when
делать
they always know what is right
неправильно.
and what is
Вот
wrong.
эти
So all the
состояния,
spirit
друзья мои,
tune
они и есть
the mind
состояние,
of people
сонастраивающее
to the highest
человека на здоровую
state and
психику.
awareness.
Пожалуйста,
And the
короткую
next
справку,
question,
потому что не все,
uh,
видимо, правильно
when
поняли.
the
Вот
arrogance
спрашивают
and pride
Светлана, нет ли
will not
опасности
occur when a
гордыни, когда
person
ученик осознает, что он
considers
избранник?
himself as the chosen one?
Нет, нет,
Thank you
не
for this
должен
question.
answer этот
It's very
вопрос.
important. But
Нет,
a spiritual
когда
developed
человек
person,
действительно
when he is
понимает
developing
ценность своей.
correctly, he will
Чем
never
выше он
tower
растет,
over other
тем
people. He
меньше
will
он
never
смотрит
be
среди
arrogant and
обыденных
pride with
людей.
other people,
Он никогда не
even with the
возвысится над другими.
uh,
Он никогда не
simple
возгордится.
workers who have
Даже те
no
люди, которые
education.
где-то роют,
But
копают
he
землю и
will
не имеют
always
высшего образования, вообще
interact with
обязательно
such people with
грамотно не
kindness
умеют,
and
он
love.
подойдет
He will
и скажет:
always
здравствуй, добрый
tender
человек,
and
хорошего дня
culture.
тебе желаю. И пожелает
Nevertheless, he will be
намного
inside
лучше к этому
the very
человеку.
great
Хотя сам он
wise
в
man.
величайшем
But
неведении. Нет, друзья
this
мои.
is really
Но
a
это еще
huge
одна
mistake,
ошибка. Я
and
встречаюсь.
I
Я
saw a
очень
lot
часто
of
с этим
such people.
встречаюсь.
Sometimes they
Когда
came
ко
to
мне
me
приходят такие
for
ученики,
studying, but
которые с
I do
каналами
not
там
take them
открытыми,
for
там
courses for
говорить
our
с ними
studying
кто-то,
because
видят они там что-то.
their
Далеко
arrogance
ли
and
это
pride,
люди
their
маленькие,
egoism really
или они
possess
не
and destroy
понимают
their
этого?
mind, and
Потому что их как раз вот
it
та гордыня,
interferes them
высокомерие и
to
тщеславие,
study
которое
spiritually with me. Because for my
пожирает
learners, the
их
first
разум, не дает
state, the first
возможности
task
им
is to
идти со мной дальше.
activate
Потому что
patience,
задачу моих
understanding,
учеников,
acceptance
первое
of
задание —
everything and
это
everyone. And I
терпение,
teaches my
смирение,
learners
понимание,
these states, this
принятие и
basis of
прощение.
the
И
development
этому
of
я учу
people,
своих учеников
even at the
в
first day of
первый
our
день
basic course.
первого занятия.
So
Это
to be
основа развития
saying to be a
человека.
spiritually developed
Быть
person, it
избранным
means
значит
to
понимать
realize the
свой
meaning
великий
and
путь
significance
и
of
понимать
this knowledge.
серьезность и
And when you
значение этого пути. И
follow
быть
all
очень
my
бдительным к
knowledge
себе, чтобы
and
тебя не занесла твоя гордыня,
tasks and
высокомерие и
instructions,
тщеславие.
you always
Я учу это
understand and
своих
have the right
учеников. Если бы вы
attitude to
меня
this and
увидели
right
с улицы
understanding.
в
And
моей
if you could
жизни,
see me in
вы
ordinary
никогда бы
social
не
life,
подумали, что вот
you would
я
never
владею такими
think that
знаниями.
I'm a
Никогда,
spiritual
друзья мои.
teacher
Никогда
of
бы
the
вы,
world, of the
ну, обыкновенный
humanity. You would
человек,
never
прибежал сюда
think
на
this
тренинг,
because
как и все.
this
Вы бы
it should
никогда
be in this
ни по
way.
внешнему виду, вы бы
You
никак бы
should
этого
never
не
be
заметили.
proud and arrogant because
Потому
this is
что
the egoism.
чем выше,
And
тем ниже.
the
Ни в
divine truth
коем
is when the
случае
higher
нельзя
you
возвышаться,
reach, the
гордиться.
higher level you
Это
reach,
все
you should be
эгоизм.
the more
Эгоизм.
modest
Я
and simple
встречаю таких.
in
Вы
this in
знаете, поделюсь с вами
society
своим
with other
опытом.
people.
Много лет назад, когда у
And
меня была
I can
такая
tell that
жажда,
in my practice
неуемная жажда
in the
давать
past,
эти
I
знания
faced
людям,
with
особенно тем,
different
кто духовно развивался.
societies
Я
and
встречалась
people
с разными сообществами людей. И
that
сейчас даже не
they
побоюсь
claim that they
называть,
are involved in the
упоминать этих
spiritual
людей.
development of people
И я
and they
сталкивалась
are
с тем, что у
teachers.
этих людей, кроме
But
гордыни,
I saw
высокомерия,
this so
тщеславия и
strong
эгоизма,
egoism
ничего не было.
and pride.
Вот зная там что-то, как-то
They
чуть-чуть
were so
чего-то,
proud
они
that
на этом
they are
такую воду,
the
такие мыльные
teachers.
пузыри,
They were
такой, и они
rude with other
так
people.
этим
They neglect
гордились,
other people
они так
and
себя
call themselves the
хамски вели в
enlightened people.
обществе,
And I
они
was
так
ashamed
пренебрегали другими
uh,
людьми,
because of these
называя себя
people,
такими
because I
просветленными.
realized their
Мне было
madness
стыдно
and their
за
trap
этих людей.
in which they
Я
live.
понимала их
But
безумие, я
they will
понимала их
never
ловушку. Они
realize
в
this
ловушке,
trap.
но они уже никогда не поймут этой ловушки. Никогда, друзья мои.
That's
Поэтому
why you should
знайте,
always know that
духовного
a
человека, духовно
spiritual
развитого,
person,
можно
spiritually developed
определить
person,
таким
you
образом.
can
Первое, он
recognize
будет
only when
здоровым
he
человеком.
is
Второе, он
full
будет
of love
наполнен
and he
любовью
is
и
always
всегда будет
joyful and he is
радостным.
healthy
Третье, даже
person,
если что-то
completely
плохое,
healthy.
во всем плохом
Also,
он
in
всегда
every bad
найдет хоть
situation,
крупицы
he will
чего-то
he
хорошего и пользу.
will
Даже
always
из
see
плохого он сможет
some good
извлечь пользу.
aspect and
Духовный
some
человек, он
base
всегда
benefit.
ласковый, он всегда
He is always
веселый, он
simple,
всегда
he is
простой,
always
он
joyful.
никогда не
He will
будет
never tower
возвышаться и
over
как-то там
other people. He will
рупорки
never
свои
be
надувать.
arrogant. He will
Никогда, друзья мои.
be
Он будет
always
очень простым, он
frank
будет
and
ребенком душой
sincere
своей,
and
он будет
modest
чистый
and
ребенок,
simple.
он будет
He will
всегда
be
самим собою. Ему
simple as a
абсолютно все равно,
child.
что там думают
He will
другие
be
люди.
always
Может быть, те, которые
himself,
знают о его величии и знании.
even that
Он
other
будет
people will not
всегда самим собой.
know that he possesses the highest knowledge.
Много вопросов, касающихся
The next
панических
questions,
атак,
a lot of questions
внезапных
we receive about the
вирусных.
panic attacks.
Очень много, да.
Yes, we have
Много
received
таких
a lot of
действий,
such messages.
очень
I know
много.
that there are
Они
so many people with
обращаются к
such
такой просьбой, и я понимаю, что это
problem.
происходит.
They came to
Но
me for
если есть
help,
эти панические
so
атаки,
I know
если
this
человек еще в состоянии, когда
state
он
very
пробует
well.
себе
And I can tell
самопомощь,
you that there are
я
also
работаю с такими людьми. У
different
нас есть от
stages
чего
of such a
жгучее
state.
желание,
When a
такая
person,
жажда,
it feels to me,
ненасытная жажда
I
себе
can help
помочь.
such a person when he
Такого
have
берут с
a
таким людям.
longing, very strong
А если
desire
человек просто
to
говорит, у
store
меня
himself
панические
and to
атаки, вот
save
сейчас
himself.
вот я как-то
But
встретила девочку,
sometimes a person
парикмахера,
can ask me
и вот говорю ей о том,
about
что
this.
от этого можно
Uh,
избавиться, от
as
этого можно уйти. Ну
lately
да,
I
у нас
met
многие
very young
молодые люди
girl.
сейчас
She
страдают
told me
такими
about
процессами, но
this
она ничего не
problem with
сделала
panic
для
attacks,
того, чтобы себе
but
помочь. Она так
she
и осталась с этими паническими атаками.
did
Много
not
ходит в
anything to
больницу,
help
принимает
herself.
препараты.
She told
Многие
me
говорят,
that
что так
she
плохо после этих
came to
препаратов.
the
Ну что
clinic,
делать?
she
Это ее
took
боль.
some medications,
Я не
and that
стала ее
she
переубеждать.
felt bad about
Рассказываю ей,
this
что
after these
это можно
drugs and
из них
medications,
исправить,
but
и я могла бы это
he
сделать.
did
Нет,
not want
я
to
поняла.
stop.
Раз
But
в ее
I told
сознании
her that I
эта мысль не
could help
родилась,
her,
хотя я ей дала
and
столько
I
про
gave the
себя
link to
передачу.
my
Раз она
site, to my
сама этого
broadcast
не
about this
поняла,
problem.
значит,
But
она этой
since
помощи
she did
пока
not
еще и не
understand this
заслуживает.
help and the
Ведь
meaning of this
Бог
help,
дает вам
it
помощь,
means that
ведь
she is
это
not ready
Он
to
вам
receive
меня
it.
показывает.
Because this help
Это не
that
я
I'm giving to
вам
you,
себя показываю. Я
it's
сейчас
the help of the
выполняю
God. Yeah,
божественный труд,
just
а
accomplish
Создатель
this
тому, кому из
divine
вас показывает
work,
руку.
divine
Это Он дает
service, divine
возможности вам
help.
и протягивает вам руку помощи. Кто-то
So
это
sometimes
поймет, а кто-то
uh,
какую-то гадость
people
напишет в
come and
комментариях.
receive
Это
this help,
такое есть.
and they
Такие есть
appreciate.
люди. Это
And
одержимые.
sometimes people
И
can
если вы
use this
просто
or just
послушаете,
argue with
давайте
this
советы
knowledge,
рекомендации.
write
Слушайте,
some
друзья. Уже я
bad
надеюсь, что сегодня
destructive comments,
посмотрите
and that's
туда.
all. It's meant that they are not ready to
Еще
realize
один. Ну
Да,
давайте.
this truth
интересный вопрос.
and receive this help. So one more question
Наталья
Natalia
спрашивает,
asks. The
скажите,
force
пожалуйста,
of the
добро
evil
и
and the
зло
goodness is the
равнозначно по
same, the
силе?
similar. No, friends, they are
Да,
not.
друзья мои.
They
Добро и
have
зло
no the
неравнозначны по
similar
силе.
force. The
Добро
goodness is
всегда
always stronger
побеждает
than the
зло.
evil.
А зло
It always
никому
defeats
победить
the
не
evil,
может.
but the evil cannot
Зло
defeat
только само себя
and win
изживает. Каким образом?
something, because the
Зло– это
evil destroys
разрушение.
itself,
И
because the
это
evil
зло, разрушение,
has the
само себя
destructive
и
energy.
разрушит. Да.
So yes,
Сейчас
even
вот
now
придет это,
we have
вот сейчас
accumulated a lot
накоплено
of
на планете
evil
много
on the
зла.
planet,
Чем
and
это
it will end
закончится?
only with
Разрушением
destructions,
планеты,
because this evil
разрушением.
will
И
destroy
это зло
itself
само
and the
себя и разрушит.
planet.
Разрушит
But
планету. Но есть
since
методики,
the
механизмы,
supreme higher
высокоразвитые
forces
существа, которые за
also
несколько сотен
develop
тысяч лет
and
смогут
take
восстановить
care
эту
of
планету, и планета
our
будет
planet and
процветать,
humanity,
и
they
жители
will
будут
restore
жить
the planet
осознанные, развитые
during
и
several
выбиравшие
years,
путь
and people who
мудрости.
will survive, spiritual developing people, will
Друзья мои,
continue the evolution and
советы
the
и
life on this
рекомендации.
planet.
Как же
So,
жить?
friend, the most
Давайте пойдем
important
дальше.
questions
Что
now:
делать?
how to survive,
Что
how to
делать,
endure
когда,
this, what to
ну
do
вот
in
так вот,
these
есть люди,
very hard
которые
conditions, how
разрушительные,
to help and how to
люди,
interact with
которые уже
such people who
находятся в
are
очень
mentally
серьезном процессе
ill,
разрушения
mentally
и не
unstable, and
понимают
don't
даже себя
realize
и
their
в
madness
состоянии
when
просто
we
их
need
нужно
just
связывать и как-то
just
удерживать в
to
каком-то
keep them in
помещении.
some SLMs
Очень
and psychiatric
непросто.
clinics. We cannot help
Люди,
such
у
people,
которых только
but
начинаются эти процессы,
we can help
панические
the people
атаки,
who have just a
эпилептические
beginning of
приступы,
the mental disorders,
агрессивность,
aggressiveness,
депрессивность,
depressive states,
скандальность такая, вот человек
some
скандалит постоянно,
resentments, indignations,
претензии, придирчивость,
fears, panic
недовольство. Это
attacks.
все
This
уже
is also the
психическое
first
разрушение,
stages of the
психическое
mental
агрессивность и
disorders.
разрушение. Таким можно помочь. Что нужно
So, what
делать?
should we do?
Почитайте литературу,
Read
посмотрите фильмы,
books, good books, and
просмотрите
watch
фильм «Прекрасное зеленое».
positive
Там
films. For example, The Beautiful
показывают, как человека
Green.
отключают от матрицы. Таким вот
They
движением
this
человека
film shows
отключают от
you how
матрицы, и он
the
начинает
person
правильно думать,
is
правильно
disconnected
мыслить
from the
и
matrix,
правильно относиться к
and
жизни.
then the
Такой
person starts
интересный
to
такой фильм, но
perceive
в
and
нем есть очень
understand
глубокий
the world
замысел.
correctly.
Еще почитайте
So this
книжечки.
film shows very
Почитайте
right
книжечку
processes.
«Посвящение» Элизабет
Read
Хейт.
books,
Почитайте
Initiation of
книжечку Анны
by Elizabeth
Зубковой
H.
«Уроки Пифагора».
Lessons of Pythagore
Сага
uh,
Одина, тоже Анны
by Anna
Зубковой.
Zubkova, and
Почитайте
Saga of
книжечку
Odin
«Беседы с
also
Богом». Она
by Anna Zubkova.
материальные для
Also,
Америки,
the
для
books
капитализма
The
больше, вот там
Conversations with God
что-то тут
by Neil Donald
о
Walsh.
деньгах больше, о таком,
Uh,
ну, скажем,
Nevertheless, he
золотом
is
материальном,
American
хотя
writer,
есть и
so
очень
there are a lot of
прагматичные,
material
но
aspects
тоже
in this book,
неплохие
but also
книжечки
it's
про
very
книги. Посмотрите
wonderful
фильмы
books. Also,
Хилтона,
watch the movie
посмотрите
The Shack
фильмы «Беседы с Богом»,
and
посмотрите
the,
фильмы «Куда приводят мечты»,
also The
посмотрите
Communication with
фильм
God
«Я была в гостях у
and What
смерти»,
Dreams May Come, also good film.
Валентина Романова.
And
Она создала этот фильм,
also
она
the
написала фильм
documentary
также о
film
своем
I
послесмертном.
Was the Guest of the
Посмотрите
Death.
фильмы, которые
You can watch
расширяют
the
ваше
movie that
сознание,
develop you,
развивают
expand
вас.
your consciousness.
Смотрите хорошие перед
Before
сном,
the
скажем так,
sleeping,
вот
watch
хорошие
good
такие
TV programs,
передачи.
positive
Смотрите
and
природу красивую,
discovering.
медитируйте, работайте со
Also
своими тонкими
meditate, work
мирами.
with your
Ведь
subtle
когда
bodies,
разрушается
since
психика,
when the
будет
mind
разрушение
is
тонких
destroying,
тел, тонкие
it means
тела
that your
вообще
subtle
болеют.
bodies
А
also are
восстановить их
destroying,
можно
are
не
ill.
только вот
So you can
просмотром
restore
эфиров,
them not
хорошей музыкой,
only due
прослушиванием,
to the
а
positive
и работой
movies
медитации.
and
Медитация восстанавливает ваши
books, but first of
тонкие
all, the
тела, вашу
meditation is the
психику.
work
Вот
with your
это
subtle
сегодня вам
energy,
таким
subtle bodies.
подспорьем.
It will
Ну и,
restore your
конечно же,
psyche. And
ищите
of course,
своего учителя. Ищите
search
того,
your
кого
teacher,
сможете
spiritual
верить в
teacher,
свою жизнь. Отдать свою
when you
жизнь
will
в его
feel that
руки
you can
для
trust him,
сопровождения.
believe him,
И
then
следуйте за
he
этим
can help
учителем.
you to
Учителя найти
save, to
где?
survive.
Внутреннем сердце,
You should
в
feel
вашей
this with your
душе.
soul, with your
Вот если вы
feelings, with your
доверяете,
heart.
если
When
вам
you can trust him,
легок
when you feel
человек,
lightness
если
and
вам
easiness with
спокойно,
him,
если вы
when you feel that
чувствуете, что вы
you can
сможете узнать то, о
learn
чем вы
that knowledge
мечтали
that
всю
you were
жизнь,
searching for
значит,
the
это
whole
ваш
life, it means
учитель.
that it is your
Но уже
teacher.
выбрав учителя, будьте
But
верны и
having
преданны,
chosen your
потому
teacher,
что
be very
учитель
faithful
есть
and
Бог.
devoted,
И
because
выбирая
when you
учителя, вы
choose
выбираете
the
Бога,
teacher,
божественное
you choose
состояние. У меня
God,
есть ученик,
divine
он держит вот так руки.
state,
Видимо, хочет задать еще один
who will
вопрос.
lead you
Э,
and develop you.
Я просто тут смотрю в чат и
Sergey
понимаю,
Arkadyevich
что есть
wants
люди,
to ask
которые
one more
очень
question.
далеки, даже вообще от всех
I see the
пониманий этого.
messages in
И
chat
вот
that
это горе, зло
they
и
express their
обострение
aggressiveness and
психические,
evil.
вот их они как раз очень
So,
касаются.
can
Немножко
you give
больше, кроме фильмов,
more
что
practical
можно, это
tips,
людям будет понятно,
recommendations, how to
скажем,
calm
для того,
down?
чтобы успокоиться
Maybe
и хотя
some
бы начать слушать
procedures,
эту
some
позитивную
recipes
музыку. Может
or
быть, после
herbs.
ванны
Can you
какие-то
give
правила.
some
Вот несколько штук
specific and
конкретных
particular
примеров, как
recommendations how to calm
успокоиться.
down?
Мои
My
дорогие,
dear friends, I love you very, very much.
вот давайте сейчас,
So
прямо сейчас, я
now I will
изолью
pour
свою
my
любовь к
energy
вам,
into your
в ваши
soul and
души,
fill
и
your souls
наполню
with their
ваши
calmness,
души
peace, and
покоем,
purity.
чистотой,
Let
мир,
kindness,
любовь,
love, and
радость.
joy
Пусть
and happiness
счастье сейчас
will
раскроется в ваших душах.
be
Оно
revealed
есть у вас,
in your
я это
soul,
точно
and it
знаю.
will be so.
И вам
I
совет
know this
рекомендаций.
definitely.
Есть
And regarding the
такая,
recipes, I can
метод
give you
такой,
one
называется
wonderful
горячее
recipe,
одеяло. Это
procedure,
метод,
a hot blanket.
по-моему, по Болотову. Но я вам
It
расскажу сейчас. Этот
relaxes
метод
your
очень,
nervous
этот метод
system,
очень хорошо
nervous
расслабляет нервные
sensors
окончания
that are
мозга,
connected to
которые
your
взаимодействуют
psyche.
с вашей психикой.
You should
Смотрите,
buy the
покупаете в
greenhouse
магазине где-то
film,
метров
the
10
sleeve
пленка 0,63
around
микрона.
10
Она
meters.
вспаянная по
You need
бокам.
to
Вам
create
нужно
such a
положить на
sack
его
for your
тело
body.
мешок.
You need
Мешок,
to
который вы залезете.
put yourself inside of
Набираете
this sack.
ванную воды или
Also prepare
открываете душ,
the
приготовили уксус и приготовили соль.
some
И
kitchen
вечером, уже
salt
когда
and
все
vinegar,
положили,
some
можете туда
vinegar.
лежать себе.
Then
Становитесь
you
под
need
душ на
to
минут 5
stand
или
under a
теплой
hot
водой
shower
градусов
or in a
100.
hot tube.
Вот под этим душем стоите.
In a shower,
Постояли,
stand
полы
just
раскрыли.
5
Затем
7 minutes.
берете этот
Then
мешок,
close the water
разворачиваете,
or
закрыли
delve
душ
into the
и
hot
лежа
water
в
in a
ванную,
tube. You need
погрузились
to
в
lay
ванной,
down
полежали в
and
воде,
to
надо
prepare
раскрыть
your
поры ваших страниц,
body, your
посмотреть
skin
организм, поцелуйте.
to this
Положили
procedure.
этот
Then
мешок на
you
ванную
open this
и лежа раскрыть этот мешок в
film,
душевой.
greenhouse film,
Берем
and
свою ножку, натираем стопы,
put
натираем все ножки
the
солью.
kitchen salt
Сильно не трем,
to
потому
your
что
skin.
можно и
Cover the skin
кожу
with salt
содрать.
and
То
rub
есть
it a
аккуратненько
little,
берем
like
эту
a scrub,
сольку,
but very
обыкновенную
gently
соль,
so as
и
not
так
to injure
накладываем
the
на свое
skin.
тело.
And put
Положили,
the
положили
salt
и на
even on the
голову,
face,
и
on
на
the
лицо очень
hair,
аккуратненько,
but very
аккуратненько,
carefully.
не трем, а аккуратненько
Your
тело
body
мокрое,
will be
и
wet,
оно
so
хорошо,
it
эта
will be
солька к вам
easy.
прилипает.
Also,
Затем
you need
залазим в этот
to
мешок, попросим,
create
чтобы вас кто-то
the
закрыл,
gap
дырочку для дыхания,
for your
держим
breath, for
дырочку
your
на
nose.
ротик и носик, Если вы под душем, опускаем
And
голову
then
вот так вот и
also
стоим, чтобы вода текла, а вы
stand
стоите в этом
under the
мешке.
hot shower
Это
or
соль
delve into
входит в
the
ваши
hot
поры,
tube.
расслабляет нервную
And this
систему,
procedure
убирает инфекции на
helps
коже.
you
Вот это вот такая
to
процедура. И
restore
она даже
even
лечит эта
problems
процедура.
with blood
Особенно
vessels,
люди,
heart
у которых
problems,
псориаз, эта процедура очень хорошо
diseases,
лечит
infections
псориаз.
of internal organs,
Псориаз это тоже заболевание
and
иммунитета
even problems
и
with your
интоксикация
skin.
организма. Затем, друзья мои, или же,
So
если вы
make
в
sure
ванной,
that water
тогда в
does not
ванной
flow into the
закрываете
sleeve.
себя в
You
мешок,
should
вы же положили
close
мешок
this
на
film
воду,
and breathe through a
затем
small
в этот
hole.
мешок погружаетесь и
When
закрываете
you
себя.
prepare
Тоже
the
держите,
film properly,
скажем, эту
you
дырочку, чтобы
can
дышать, как
close
можно было.
it
Кто-то вас
very
завязывает, и вы
tight.
погружаетесь в воду.
And
Лежите в воде. Этот
if you are
воздух
under the
вместе с этой
shower, you
дырочкой
should
вышел,
stand
и
10
вас как термопакет. Хлоп,
or 15
и
minutes.
эта
But
соль
if
входит в
you
ваши
take this
поры,
procedure in a
щипает
tube,
первое время,
just 5 or 7
кусается и
minutes, not
щипает. Вот это только
longer,
первое время
to
убивает
warm up and
инфекции.
open up
Это
your
очень
skin
хорошая
pores.
процедура. Лежим 5-7 минут. После
Then
этого
open
встали.
this film.
У вас осталась еще
Then
соль. Пачка,
you
вы
put
открыли
some
пачку,
vinegar
например,
into the
полтора
salt
килограмма или
and
сколько.
put
Затем берем
again to your
уксус,
skin
желательно
the
яблочный.
salt with
Этим
vinegar.
уксусом побрызгали
Again,
эту соль, ручкой
close
хорошо
the film.
перемешали, перемешали. Она стала немножко
And
мокренькая. Не
if you are
течет с
under
нее
the
уксус,
shower, you
немножко
should
уксуса,
stand 10
чтобы влажная
or
была
15
соль.
minutes.
И берем по
But
верху
if
этой соли,
you
она
take
вся
this
не
procedure
растворилась у
in a
вас,
tube,
опять
just
себя
5 or
накладываем
7
уже
minutes,
соль с
not
уксусом.
longer.
И опять себя закрываем, или же опять закрываемся и становимся под душ. Если вы
Then
под душем,
again
стоим
open this
15,
film
10-15 минут.
just to
Если вы погрузились в
wash it
ванную, тогда
and
лежим
put it
5-7 минут, не
to
больше.
dry,
Не больше. Второй раз тоже
and you
полежали
can
5-7 минут,
wash with a
раскрыли свой
shampoo
мешочек,
and
вышли
with
с
a soap.
мешочка, хорошо
Then
пополоскали, повесили себе
go
на
and
крючочек,
drink a
он
hot
помылся и
warm
просыхает. А вы
tea
помылись
with
шампуньками, смыли это
mint
все,
or with the honey.
выпили чайку с
Meditate or
мятой
just
и
to
с
pray
медом,
to
лесным
the
медом.
Creator with your own
Медитацию
words, and
помолились
you will
Богу,
sleep like
Отче
a
наш,
baby.
или же просто своими словами. Послали любви и мира всему миру, спать будете, как младенцы. Поделайте
Do
такие
this procedure
процедуры, ну хотя
10
бы 10
days
дней,
and
и вы
you will
увидите
be completely
хорошее
healthy person.
результат.
У кого проблемы с сердцем и давлением, можно ограничиться тазиком с солью.
Нет. Тогда лежите
If
4
you have
минуты.
a problem with the
4-5
heart,
минут
then
максимум.
just lay
Ничего страшного. Ничего.
4-5 minutes.
Сердечко потом успокоится,
Then your
все
heart
хорошо.
will
Опять
be
тоже
restored
проблемы с
as well.
сердцем. Это же вы уже так свое сердце
And
любите.
also,
Оно точно
friends,
сидит на этом
if you
сердце.
have the problem
Опять-таки
with the
проблемы с
heart, it
давлением.
means that the
Интоксикация
entity
организма.
sits on your
Давление–
heart
это
and
интоксикация организма.
destroys this.
Физические
Also,
нагрузки,
you need to
очищение,
do
правильное
sport,
питание,
make physical
работа над собой.
activity,
Давление надо
and
убрать, друзья мои. Да,
also healthy
так должно быть.
nutrition. You should
В здоровом же
also
теле
take care
только
of your
здоровый
physical
дух.
body
В
because
больном теле
when you
дух
are
тоже болен.
unhealthy,
Да,
your
друзья мои.
spirit also is unhealthy.
Я так хочу, чтобы вы были здоровы.
I want you to be
Я
healthy
очень
so
понимаю
much.
вас.
I
Я
understand you
знаю
very
ваши
well.
страдания.
I
Я знаю
understand
ваши
your
мучения. Я
sufferings,
понимаю
your
вас.
torments.
Читайте книжечки.
So
Слушайте мои
read
передачи.
books
Это уже
that I
помощь.
recommend
Если
you.
вы
Watch
сейчас меня
our
слушаете,
broadcast. It's
значит,
also
вы уже
help to
имеете
you.
эту
And
помощь.
if you are
Ведь каждый
listen
раз,
to me
когда я
now,
работаю с
it's
вами, я
also
излучаю свет
your work
своей
on
души.
yourself in
И
the
этот
help
свет
because I'm
проникает в
pouring
ваши
out
души,
my
и
energy,
вам вкусно
my
немножко. И
love,
все
my light to your
становится
soul. And
легче.
nevertheless,
И
you
я
receive
благодарю
this and you
Создателя
feel
за то, что Он
relief.
дает мне эту
And
силу,
I thank the
знания,
Creator that He
возможность
gives
и
me
великую
this
любовь.
energy, this
Любовь к миру,
force and
любовь к
love
людям,
to people,
любовь к
to the planet,
человечеству.
to humanity.
А мы будем завершать,
And
друзья
we
мои.
will finish our
Наша
streaming.
передача
It
подошла к
will
концу.
come to an end.
Я пожелаю
So
такому миру стать
I wish
психически
to
здоровым.
this world to
Бог
become
слышит мои
mentally
желания.
sane,
Он
mentally
исполняет мои
healthy.
желания.
And
И
God
если я прошу
always
что-то у
hears
Него,
my
то только для этого
inquiries,
мира.
and He knows that if
Я
I
не
ask
хочу.
Him
Меня пусть
something,
будет то,
I
что
ask
я
only for
хочу
people, not for
прожить,
myself. And if I need
выдержать,
to pass
сидя
some
стоя
challenges and
в этом.
hardship for this,
В
I
этом
will endure
Его
this. If in
замысел.
this there is a will of God.
Благодарю вас.
So, up to new
До
meetings,
встречи.
friends. I wish you
До
love and happiness.
свидания.